Hi, I'm Magic Ben, and I have here with me my good friend Ken. Okay, this trick is called Take a Chance. And Ken, we haven't prearranged anything. You don't, and you didn't know what you're about to see. And I'm actually going to teach this trick, so it doesn't really matter. But this is being filmed live, single continuous shot, and there's no camera tricks. None of my things ever have any camera tricks. But Ken, here I have just a regular deck of cards. It doesn't matter if they're shuffled because you're just going to take out 6 cards from here. Whatever 6 cards you like.
Any 6 cards.
Any 6 cards you like. Jack of Hearts, King of Diamonds, the Queen of Spades, 10 of Clubs, King of Spades. Okay, and the Ace of Diamonds. Right, good. And I just want you to kind of move all those forward. Very good. And why don't you take the take the dice and roll them. Okay, 4. You're good. 1, 2, 3, 4. And take the dice and roll them. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So and Ken, I'd like you to just take. I have a prediction here, by the way. So just select a card. 10 of Clubs. Okay. So let's recap. You from a regular deck of cards, you selected 6 cards, and we randomly determined a card, 2 cards, and then you picked one. So go ahead and flip over the top card of that deck.
What?
Pretty good, huh?
Good job.
Do you like that?
Wow.
Okay. So
Holy mackerel.
was that how was the wow factor of that?
Amazing.
Was that good? Okay. So I mean, you literally picked 6 cards, whatever 6 cards. You had 6 cards, and they were totally your total free choice. You picked 6 cards, and we randomly rolled, landed on 2 cards. I think it was these 2, right? And you picked a 10 of Clubs, and that was the card that was on the top.
Wow. Great job.
Cool, huh? So, okay. So, again, my channel is... I've made a lot more Ben Teaches videos recently. So, you know, for those people who are interested in learning magic, there's a lot of learning videos out there on YouTube land. It can be difficult also to kind of balance between... I don't know who you are, so, you know, you might already be an advanced magician, or you might be a total beginner, or just somebody who's curious. So, but I live for performing magic. You know, I like the inspiring, the sort. That's why I asked. You know, what was the wow factor? Right?
Yeah,
because you only live that once. You know,
Yeah.
the how much of a sort of wow impact did it have, right? Or how much sense of awe or mystery does a trick have?
Wow.
And I like to ask people who you know, who I teach or whatever, and get a sense, or people I perform magic for. And I'm performing for magic for my friends all the time. So if you know me, practically every opportunity I get, I'm doing magic. But you said that's a pretty high, like on a 1 to 10, that's very high? All right.
Very high.
Okay. So would you like to learn how this
Sure.
is done? Yeah, okay. So I'll walk you through it. Now, the first part is basically you really are literally picking, you are picking 6 cards. Like, here's the set of cards, and I'll just show up at the camera here. So you know, of the cards, you really can pick, you know, whatever 6 you want. So now I would classify this as kind of maybe a little bit more of an intermediate trick. So it's you can do it as a beginner with practice, I think. Okay, so I think you could do this. Ken, by the way, you know, does magic tricks for kids and stuff, where, you know, he teaches at a school, so which is great, you know. So it's kind of like my Padawan. So, but you know, like you could definitely do this for kids. You could do this, you know, for anybody. But it does take a little bit of practice. But it's not hard. Okay, it looks amazing. I think it has a really high bang for your buck. In other words, I think it has a pretty high wow factor for. It's not a very difficult trick to do. It seems like an impossible trick, but it's not that hard to do. Okay.
And it's relatively quick. You know, there's not a lot of, you know.
It's fast. It's simple. Yeah, that's another thing too. Like some things have a lot of deep story and stuff, and sometimes I work on tricks for months. This trick did take some sort of thinking how to make this happen. But also I think it's important is that I'll describe this as a tool as well. Okay, so you can, I just did it this particular way, but you can use this tool I'm about to teach you in many different ways. And variations of this tool are used by advanced magicians in various ways. But okay, and there's actually a couple tools going on. I'll describe, there's 3 tools going on here, and I'll describe each one for you in order. So let's slowly though walk through the what happened in the trick. So you chose 6 cards, and that was really literally completely a free choice. I showed the whole cards. You pick whatever 6 cards, and that's what I think adds to the magic of it, right? So make sure that's that's something you sort of them carefully choose and change their mind. I didn't do that, but you could have, right? That adds to the. No, are you sure you're happy with these? Go ahead and change one. That adds to the. There's nothing set up here. It really literally is a free choice. So let's suppose these are the 6 that you chose. Now, the first tool is I don't know who made this tool, and I learned it such a long time ago. I don't know who. I'm sorry, I can't attribute this, but I can describe it to you. I can describe this tool to you. So, the tool is this: when you want some number and you have some random thing counting the number, coin flip, whatever, dice. Dice is probably the most common thing, right? So when you roll, there's a thing in magic that you can count from one side or the other. So you don't necessarily say what you're doing, but in this case, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or landing on that card, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 landing on this card. Okay, I actually use that, and that's important, and I'll explain why that's important later on. But for now, just note that if I count, you can go 1, 2, and count with your finger or whatever, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just know you could land on this card, or 1, 2, 3, or 5, you could land on that card. Okay. Now they're gonna roll. Go ahead and roll the dice again. Okay, 2. So if I counted from here to 5, you do have to, you can't change it, obviously. It's going to go to this, right? Okay, so if you started counting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you count 1, 2, these would be the 2 cards that you use, okay? So that's the first tool that I could count from either way, all right? So that's a thing. The deep secret of this is, and this is where it requires some sort of audience management, okay? And this is why it's kind of important. So the deck, the secret of the deck is that it's a deck in new card order. Right? So from ace to K, A to K, ace to K, and A to K. Right?
Didn't you just shuffle it? It's still in order then?
Oh, but that's a great thing. So I shuffled this.
Right?
Okay. So you make attention to Ken. Go ahead and shuffle. Now you don't have to shuffle,
okay.
but you could. I did shuffle it right before I did the trick. So
okay.
So you're shuffling this, so it seems like the other deck should be shuffled too.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not actually. So the secret is that this deck is in new deck order. And now here's where the skill part of it comes in. So so Ken, pick any card. The 7 of Hearts. Okay. Okay. So if you look, now turn over the top card of this deck. It's pretty good, right?
It's really good.
Okay, so that's the skill part of it.
Dang.
Meaning that I know the deck is in new card order, and and it's in club, heart, spades, diamonds. Okay, so I know the hearts of the second set of things. So. And you know exactly half the deck, which is about here, is going to be, right? You can see about half the deck is going to be, should be at the end of the hearts. Okay, the King of Hearts and the beginning of the Ace of Spades. Okay? So you know the 7 of Hearts is going to be a little bit less than half, maybe, roughly there-ish. Okay? So I'm 1 card off, right? So when you cut it, you see the bottom card is a 5. I know I'm 1 card off, so I'll have to put another one down, and then I'll know the top card is a 7 of Hearts. So that takes practice. So I tell you that's going to take some practice. Okay.
Right.
And I've practiced this a lot. So take any other card. Okay, the 5 of Clubs. So again, I know the clubs are the top. It's the top suit, right? So. And again, I'm 1 card off, so the top card of this is going to be the 5 of Clubs. and that's that is magical in the sense that
Sure
it's
is.
magical.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. So you can take any 6 cards, and go ahead and pick a card.
A minor point. If you have them roll twice and they roll the same thing twice, like 2 5s, what would you do in that situation? And just for a teaching standpoint.
Oh, right. Like, let's say we roll a 5, and you say it's this one, and then we roll again, and it's a 5.
Oh, I see. I just re-roll.
Re-roll.
No.
Okay.
So, okay. So you pick the.
I'll pick the 2 of...
So I think you picked the 2 of spades.
Okay.
Is that the, yeah. You picked the 2 of spades.
That's fine. That was easy.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's
amazing,
the
man.
basic gist. So suppose you pick the king. I'll walk through it again.
Okay.
So suppose you pick the king of the card you want to land on. The card you want to produce is the king of spades.
Okay.
King of spades. Now again, an easy way to remember. This is, by the way, the classic magician's set of suits. It's clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds. And the reason why is because it's called chased. So if you take CHSD, chased, it's like the word chased minus the vowels. Okay? So it's very easy to remember club, heart, spades, diamonds. So you know that spades is the, club, heart, spades is the 3rd suit down, and it goes ace, and you can set it up in any way you want, but basically ace through king, ace through king, ace through king, okay? So you know it's the last, it's 14 from the bottom, kind of roughly like that, right? So I just did one cut, and I roughly approximated the thing. So go ahead and turn that over.
Nice.
Okay. So again, that's going to take practice. Well, I'll have you try it. Okay. So again, we'll take practice, so you won't be dead on the first time for sure. Okay, but again, the clubs are at the top, diamonds are at the bottom. I'm just going to pick the 9 of spades. So see if you can, how close you can get to the 9 of spades. So you know it's a 3rd chunk of suits down. So exactly half down is going to be the hearts, the king of hearts. So it's going to be about 2/3 of the next 13 cards.
So
and
if
above,
I go like this,
But do that,
and I
but
turn
kind
it
of
over.
check the bottom while you do it, Then you can
yeah,
know.
so
if
you're,
you go
I
on.
think you're about in the diamonds roughly. So I think go ahead and try again. So you know it's going to be past the half,
Right.
but it's going to be about a 3rd down the neck. Yeah, roughly here-ish, maybe. No.
But when you do that, you
So
should
when
try
I
to
do that, I
try to
have
sort
to-
of check.
You do have to find the
sli-
bottom
Slightly
card.
check the bottom while you.
And the bottom, and this card is going to be the next one above that. So if the 8 is down here, this will be the 9. Okay?
Oh, I blew it.
So you're only a couple cards off.
Yeah, yeah.
That's quite good. So
It was probably in the other direction.
you know
Other
that
direction.
Yeah.
So you know that the next card is going to be the one higher than this. Is going to be the jack. So you want the 8 on the bottom. So now you have to again you have to be able to
not be staring at the cards.
yeah, not like this.
Yeah,
Oh gee.
Kind of like casually look at
Yeah,
it.
you have to casually look at it, and that's actually a good point. So let me see if I can do this for the camera. So the way to I'm just gonna pick one of these.
Sure.
Let me just set it back to thingy here. Okay. So the 8 of hearts. So and that's the 2nd suit down. And you see, I just did a really fast cut. Now,
I didn't even see you do it.
Yeah.
so I don't know if actually this is the 8, but what I'm going to do is a very common thing to sort of fidget with the cards is just to do that, right? Just to turn the in the act of turning it, I can see what the card is. There's lots of ways to sort of peek at the bottom. You can also another way you can do it is just to do that and just to sort of turn over the top, like. But just in the act of doing that, I can see fast enough. Now I see that because the 3, I'm actually like sort of like 5 cards off. So you just need to do that and not 1 card off. So you may have to do it a couple of times. It's, but sometimes I'm a lot of times I can get pretty close. So
Yeah.
I'm within like a couple of cards. Sometimes I'm dead on. I'd say maybe about a 1/3 of the time I'm just dead on just from a single card. And that's the best, of course. That's what I did in the actual first performance, which is a single card. I think I might have been 1 card off, but anyway, it was. The point though is so that's the hardest part of the trick, obviously, but that's also makes it the most the magical part. And I
Yes.
think you can do it with a little bit of practice. I put a lot of practice into doing that, but again, you can get even if you're off by a little bit, you just do it subtly and you get it. Okay, so suppose they roll the thing and you do that and you do 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So these are the 2 cards. The third tool I'll teach you is something called Magician's Choice, and that's what I used in the last thing here. So now you know it's going to be one of these two things, right? But you don't know necessarily, or well, you know it's going to be one of these 2 things, okay, as the thing. And again, you have to be able to you have to prepare the deck to a point where one of these 2 could be the thing that you're going to produce, right? So I've already got in my mind, because I've already got the 2 of diamonds
Nice.
there. You know, I need you to make this choice. Okay?
And you're going to make it for me, right? Because
And
no matter what I
essentially,
choose,
yes.
Because you're gonna have him choose and can decide which one you want
if
to
I
take
choose
away.
this one,
yeah.
you say,
Yes.
let's keep it. If I say, I want
Let's
this
put it
one,
away.
let's put it away.
Exactly.
Nice.
So basically, because you can't, unless you're Houdini or something, like, you know, maybe you could do both, make a break or something, and just go to both of them. Well, that's extremely hard. That's too hard for an even intermediate thing. Like, you know, that would tax my skill to the limit. But anyway, what I've done is I've prepared 1 card to be the thing, and now the other kind of hard part of another reason why this makes this sort of an intermediate trick is that you got to do the cutting. Even if you're doing it really fast, you have to do it pretty like subtly and like in a point where you have to both look at the thing and see that, you know, and make corrections maybe fast enough that as you're talking or whatever, that people won't be distracted and because you're actually picking up the cards and manipulating them.
Right.
So like, for example, I just changed it to the 9 of spades. But you have to do it fast enough. You have to do it fast enough that you know, people aren't seeing what's going on, and you're talking enough that
Yeah, it's almost like you're talking and doing something else at the same time. Like you're talking, like pick a card, but at the same time you're like, it's got another part of your brain is flipping the card. You know, it's like you're doing.
That is
something
also
at once.
hard because because you do have to sort of think in your head which is the card and observe the card and change the card to get the right spot.
Wow.
But anyway, so this part you could have them roll, and here's the first part with the we eliminated 4 cards, right, from when you rolled out the 2 cards. I think I rolled out whatever it was, 2 and 3, in this case 2 and 4. You moved these cards out, okay, and you could have them roll again. And say on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go ahead and roll the dice. If they pick a 1, 2, 3, like you go, that's the card we'll use, or that's the card we'll eliminate. And in this case, because the nice thing is because I just eliminated a bunch of cards, suppose they rolled a 1, 2, 3, you'll say, look, let's eliminate this card. You know, it's like the pattern. You're doing it again. I'm just eliminating another card, right?
Yes.
And now, because I prepared this to be the thing, that is what's going to show.
Yeah.
If they roll a 4, 5, 6, you go, oh great, let's you rolled a 4, 5. To really emphasize, you rolled a 4, 5, 6. Let's go with that card, and that's the card you choose. So
Nice.
either way they do it. I mean, you've prepared 1 card, and again, the hardest part of the trick, of course, is preparing the deck to a point that getting that card to the top, again is will take some practice. But again, I'll step through. So you want to be able to sort of estimate. The deck is every 13 cards or so. You want to just sort of mentally picture. This is clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds, right? So, the 2 of diamonds is going to be roughly there because it's the early part of the diamonds. Again, these 2 are early parts of the diamonds. Club, hearts, spades is going to be about 2/3 of the spades there. Hearts, club, heart. Remember the chased order, CHSD. So the queen is going to be down there, and the 8 is going to be about there, and the spades, club, heart, spades is going to be about there, right? So you just gotta. That's going to take some practice. Of course, but but the point though is that there's lots of sort of sequences that happen. So you have you have to sort of make it look like, in the end, you're sort of fidgeting with the deck, basically, and the peak, just as you're kind of sort of messing with the deck, and eventually, you're going to end up the really focus on roll the dice and point out the dice, and then as they end on the cards, you roll the dice, and then say, look, I eliminated these cards, we eliminated this, and you end up with the Queen of Hearts.
Wow.
So the what's called the dirty work has to happen, just like you're fidgeting with the cards, basically, right? So like, and I just do kind of like a cut like this, and maybe I'll just show the cut. So basically, I kind of like do that, right? So that's it's a pretty fast cut, and you don't necessarily need. There are ways to do sort of hidden cuts like this, but you don't need it. That looks very kind of like you're making a move.
Yeah.
But if you do this, it's more sort of fidgety, which is I think what you want to do. And it doesn't look like you're just sort of cutting the cards.
You're just shuffling them.
Yeah,
like
it looks like you're just cutting the cards, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of I think what you want to do. All right. So again, that will take practice, but I think it's like you said, remember that sort of initial wow factor, right? It has a very high wow factor, I think. And it is an intermediate trick because it does require, to practice and to be able to cut to that point.
Card management.
And sort of audience management stuff. But I think it's if structured right, it can be really cool.
Man, very good. Good
thanks,
job,
Ben.
man.
Yeah, thanks. All right, I'm Magic Ben. Check out some of my other videos, and I hope you enjoy your day. Thanks.